The 1970s murdered the American nuclear family on television. By decade's end, audiences completely stopped believing in shows depicting wholesome, perfect households solving problems in 30 minutes. Networks discovered something absolutely revolutionary. Chaos was funny. Dysfunction was relatable. Families didn't actually like each other sometimes. While the Brady Bunch peddled artificial harmony during early 70s, a completely different breed of sitcoms emerged depicting families as actual people navigating genuine complications. Some shows became cultural institutions. Others disappeared almost immediately. But every single one broke the traditional family sitcom mold that dominated the 1960s, fundamentally transformed what television families looked like, how they behaved, and what Americans expected from their living room entertainment. The Partridge Family, 1970 to 1974. The Partridge Family premiered in 1970 as an oddball concept, a blended family functioning as a professional pop music band traveling nationwide in a colorful converted school bus. Shirley Jones starred as the widowed mother managing 6 children who literally sang professionally together, earning substantial income. Danny Bonaduce established his early television presence as the wisecracking youngest child. David Cassidy emerged as genuine teen idol through his portrayal of the band's musician son. The show's premise seemed completely absurd, yet audiences embraced it enthusiastically. The Partridge Family broke traditional family sitcom mold by suggesting families could work together professionally. Most episodes concluded with the family performing complete musical numbers, essentially inserting concert performances within 30-minute comedy structure. Critics called the show bubblegum entertainment, and they weren't entirely wrong. Yet the show's unapologetic zaniness proved refreshingly honest about how strange blended family dynamics actually functioned. The show lasted 4 seasons, accumulating devoted fan base, particularly among younger viewers who purchased merchandise and genuine music albums. The Partridge Family demonstrated that family sitcoms could incorporate performance elements, transforming comedy-drama hybrids into legitimate entertainment vehicles. The Odd Couple, 1970-1975. Television adapted Neil Simon's theatrical masterpiece into a comedy depicting 2 men negotiating shared apartment life. Tony Randall portrayed Felix Unger, an uptight divorced photographer whose obsessive cleanliness drove his roommate toward constant fury. Jack Klugman played Oscar Madison, a slovenly sports writer whose chaotic existence represented Felix's absolute nightmare. The show worked because Randall and Klugman possessed genuine chemistry, elevating relatively straightforward premise into sustained hilarity. Both performers received Emmy nominations annually, with Klugman winning multiple Golden Globe Awards. The show's genius involved understanding that comedy emerged directly from personality clash rather than elaborate storylines. Felix's neurotic perfectionism contrasted perfectly against Oscar's emotional dysfunction. Every episode essentially repeated identical conflict. Felix attempted improving Oscar's apartment or habits. Oscar resisted violently. Resolution proved temporary. The Odd Couple proved that family sitcoms didn't require actual families. The show's success suggested living situations provided sufficient dramatic terrain, generating sustained viewing interest. Gary Marshall's production work elevated material beyond simplistic premise. The Odd Couple ran successfully for 5 seasons, establishing itself as late 70s television's most reliable comedy experience. Good Times, 1974-1979. Good Times premiered as an all-in-the-family spin-off depicting the Evans family living in Chicago, housing projects navigating poverty with humor and dignity. Esther Roll portrayed Florida Evans balancing motherhood against economic hardship. John Amos initially played her husband James working construction. Jimmy Walker emerged as legitimate television star, portraying son J. Walker, whose catchphrase, "Dynamite," became genuinely ubiquitous during the mid-70s. The show broke racial barriers by depicting African-American family struggling economically rather than conforming to television's historical tendency, sanitizing poverty. Good Times acknowledged that money mattered profoundly. Children discussed school expenses. Parents debated survival. The show incorporated social commentary into comedy without preaching. Critics appreciated the show's unwillingness, sentimentalizing poverty. Good Times demonstrated families facing genuine economic constraints. The show ran for 6 seasons, maintaining solid ratings throughout. Good Times influenced subsequent programming, recognizing that diversity enriched television narratives. The show proved that family sitcoms didn't require comfortable middle-class settings. Genuine struggle created richer storytelling than artificial perfection. Sanford and Son, 1972-1977. Red Fox launched his television stardom through Sanford, and Son portraying Fred Sanford, a cantankerous junk dealer operating struggling business in Los Angeles. Demon Wilson played his son Lamont, perpetually frustrated by his father's schemes and emotional manipulation. The show depicted African-American father-son relationship with genuine affection underneath constant bickering. Fox's performance combined stand-up comedy sensibilities with scripted character work, creating something unique on television. The show's genius involved presenting generational conflict as genuinely funny. Fred and Lamont didn't actually like each other consistently, yet they remained connected through family obligation and buried affection. Sanford and Son broke family sitcom conventions by refusing sentimentality. Network television rarely showed fathers and sons literally arguing with genuine anger. The show proved audiences appreciated watching families navigate real frustration. Fox received numerous Emmy nominations. The show ran successfully for 5 seasons, establishing itself as one of 70s television's. Sanford and Son demonstrated that families didn't require artificial harmony. Authentic conflict could generate superior comedy. All in the Family, 1971-1979. All in the Family debuted in 1971 as television's most revolutionary family sitcom, fundamentally transforming what television families could discuss. Carroll O'Connor portrayed Archie Bunker, a bigoted working-class man whose opinions contradicted his liberal son-in-law and progressive daughter. Norman Lear's creation forced American families to watch television characters expressing racist, sexist, and discriminatory opinions without laugh-track validation. The genius involved allowing Archie to voice genuine bigotry while structuring narratives demonstrating why his positions remained indefensible. Rob Reiner's Michael Stivic engaged Archie in substantive debates. Sally Struthers' Gloria challenged her father's traditional values. The show proved that television could handle controversial material, generating genuine thought rather than mere entertainment. All in the Family spent 9 seasons atop ratings, demonstrating audiences hungered for family conflict, reflecting actual American tensions. The show spawned multiple successful spin-offs, including The Jeffersons and Maude, establishing Norman Lear as television's most important creative force. All in the Family proved family sitcoms could function as social commentary vehicles. The show transformed television permanently by demonstrating that commercial success and artistic integrity weren't mutually exclusive. Chico and the Man, 1974-1978. Chico and the Man premiered in 1974 as television's first series centered on Mexican-American characters in lead positions. Jack Albertson portrayed Ed Brown, a cantankerous garage owner in East Los Angeles. Freddie Prinze emerged as genuine sensation, portraying Chico Rodriguez, an optimistic young man seeking employment at Ed's failing garage. The show's premise depicted generational and cultural conflict between Ed's worn-down cynicism and Chico's youthful optimism. Albertson won an Emmy Award for his performance, demonstrating television's capacity recognizing older character actors. Prince's rapid ascent to superstardom created genuine teen idol phenomenon unusual for male comedic actors. Tragically, Prince struggled with depression and committed suicide at age 22 in 1977, fundamentally altering the show's trajectory. After Prince's death, producers considered cancellation, but continued with child actor Gabriel Melgar replacing the original Chico. Continued demonstrating that audiences invested in these characters. Chico and the Man represented important television diversity milestone despite its tragic circumstances. Three's Company, 1977 to 1984. Three's Company premiered in 1977, depicting 3 unmarried roommates sharing single apartment, creating constant misunderstanding-based comedy. John Ritter portrayed Jack Tripper, an aspiring actor forced to pretend being female to satisfy landlord's requirements regarding unmarried cohabitation. Joyce DeWitt played Janet Wood, a conservative office worker. Suzanne Summers portrayed Chrissy Snow, the stereotypical dumb blonde character portrayed with surprising depth. The show's premise seemed controversial, yet audiences embraced it enthusiastically, despite containing what critics considered risque situations. Three's Company became one of 1970s television's most successful comedies by understanding that physical comedy and innocent misunderstandings generated sustained laughter. Ritter's pratfall abilities made him television's most reliable physical comedian. DeWitt and Summers provided contrasting personality types, allowing character-based humor. The show featured rapid-fire dialogue and escalating complications within each episode's confined space. Three's Company demonstrated that non-traditional living situations could anchor successful family sitcoms. The show's success influenced subsequent programming, recognizing that audiences appreciated comedies exploring unconventional living arrangements, questioning traditional morality. Happy Days, 1974-1984. Happy Days premiered in 1974, A's nostalgic look at 1950s Milwaukee family life, centering on the Cunningham family and their teenage son, Richie. Ron Howard portrayed the show's moral center, navigating high school complications. Henry Winkler emerged as genuine phenomenon, portraying Arthur Fonzarelli, the leather-jacketed mechanic, becoming breakout character. Marion Ross portrayed the nurturing mother figure, grounding the show's emotional core. Tom Bosley delivered gravitas as the businessperson father figure. Happy Days' genius involved balancing nostalgia for idealized 1950s against 1970s contemporary sensibilities. The show depicted genuinely warm family relationships without requiring artificial perfection. Each family member possessed distinct personality, creating natural comedy. Fonzie's popularity prompted creators progressively centering episodes around the character despite his initially secondary role. Happy Days achieved unprecedented ratings, success accumulating loyal viewership across demographics. The show's cultural impact extended beyond television, producing catchphrases like Fonzie's "I" entering common vernacular. Happy Days ran 10 seasons, establishing itself as definitive 1970s family sitcom. The show proved that nostalgia could generate commercially successful television when combined with quality writing and authentic character development. Happy Days demonstrated that family sitcoms could achieve both critical legitimacy and popular success. The Brady Bunch, 1969-1974. The Brady Bunch aired primarily during the 1970s, despite premiering in 1969, depicting blended family created when widower Tom Brady married widow Carol, simultaneously incorporating all their biological children into a single household. Robert Reed portrayed the thoughtful father figure, embodying traditional American masculinity without aggression. Florence Henderson portrayed Carol as devoted mother figure, managing 6 children with perpetual optimism. The show's genius involved treating blended family dynamics with genuine warmth, suggesting different family structures could function successfully. The Brady Bunch became more popular during the 1970s through reruns and merchandising than during its original broadcast run. Critics dismissed the show as overly saccharine, yet audiences recognized the show's genuine affection for its characters. The Brady Bunch broke family sitcom conventions by suggesting unconventional family structures deserved television representation. The show produced cultural phenomenon surrounding its characters with devoted fan base extending decades beyond cancellation. The Brady Bunch influenced how subsequent programming approached blended family dynamics. The show demonstrated that television families didn't require biological connections, functioning as genuine families through emotional commitment. Here's the real question. Which of these shows did you actually grow up watching, and did it actually reflect your real family experience? I'm genuinely curious because I think the 1970s broke something fundamental about television families that we've never fully recovered from. Once audiences accepted that families could argue, disagree about politics, and genuinely frustrate each other, the saccharine stuff became impossible to resurrect. Tell me honestly in the comments, did your family look more like the Brady Bunch or more like Archie Bunker, arguing with everyone in his living room? And which 1970s family sitcom should I have included on this list? The forgotten family shows are usually the most interesting ones because they represent what television networks actually believed audiences wanted at specific moments in history. Drop your hottest take below about 1970s family sitcoms versus what networks produce today.